Hi, I'm Holly Tallman, and welcome back to another week of our How To Tuesdays with Burnt by Holly Pyrography. Today we are talking about unleashing the power of your thermal control. Now, if you've ever used one of these bad boys when you were younger, one of the first wood burning tools that you used as a child, you would understand how difficult these things can be to maneuver and manipulate to get them to do what you want. Nowadays, with any hot wire system and some element systems, you now have the power of thermal control. Now, the thermal control has been a huge game changer in creating some amazing pyrographic art, and that is because you have more control over every aspect of your drawing. The thermal control works by controlling and restricting the amount of electricity that is drawn from the system to the tip of your pen. And by increasing or decreasing the flow of electricity, you can get a hotter or a cooler temperature. Today we're going to talk about how you can use the thermal control to control your artwork and get the best out of your system. So the first topic that we're going to talk about today is your heat control. Now, the heat control is the ability to turn the temperature up or down. This will increase or decrease the amount of electricity that goes from your system to the pen, and therefore you can create a lighter or a darker shade based on what temperature you're working at. It is important to keep in mind that when using the thermal control for only turning up and down your heat in order to change the color of your burn mark, that you are working at a consistent speed. If you increase or decrease the speed at which you're working, you will find that the thermal control is pretty ineffective. This brings me to my second topic, your speed of hand. It is important to know how you like to work. Some people work relatively quickly. They like to draw at an expedient pace and kind of wisp through their technique. And sometimes it's not even a matter of their personal style. Sometimes it's based on the artwork in which they're doing. If they're doing fur lines or if they're doing grass in a landscape picture, you might find that the wispy lines, which take up the primary focus of the artwork, can take a lot of time and can be quite time consuming. So if you're going to speed up your speed of hand and you're going to work at a fast pace, it's important to increase your temperature. Increasing your temperature will have the pen burning at a higher temperature by allowing more electricity through the pen and keep it running at a hotter temperature so that as you're wood burning, more heat is displaced out of your pen and into your artwork. You will find that if you slow down, that very quickly you will start to create burn marks, pits, and yellow haloing around your artwork. This is a time where you would turn down your temperature if you're going to work on something focused. If you're going to work on something focused, let's say you were going to shade something like a skin tone in a portrait, or if you were going to work on something that required a lot of focus and concentration in the way that you're maneuvering your pen and the way that you're drawing, you would want to decrease your temperature. This will restrict the amount of heat and electricity running through your pen tip and allow you the time that you need to manipulate your pen to get it to do what you want it to do. You will find that if you work at an expedient pace with the temperature turned down, that it will not give you the color or the tonal range that you're looking for because you're just working too fast for the electricity to keep up with you. As the electricity is drawn from the pen tip into the wood, it is displaced, and therefore more electricity needs to pass through the pen in order to make a burn mark onto your wood. Let's talk about our low end adjustment. Your low end adjustment has the ability for you to change the kick-in point in which the electricity starts to make an actual mark on your wood burning. Let's say that you're the type of person who works at an expedient pace quite often. You can turn the low end adjustment to turn your kick-in point to a number 2 or 3. You have the control of using numbers 5 all the way through 10 to adjust the exact amount of hotter temperature. While we're talking about thermal control today, I think it's important that we touch on our pens. Dependent on what system you're using, if you're using a Razortip, you have the ability to choose a standard or a heavy-duty pen. It's important to keep in mind that when you have a heavy-duty pen, that it was primarily created for the purpose of heavy-handed people who apply pressure. So something like children or people who have difficulty with their proprioception. It's important to note that these pens work better on a heavier gauge or on a heavy-duty cord. They were designed more for pressure and for learning purposes. And so that's the trade-off you got for a stronger connection and a stronger pen, was the trade-off with having a higher heat throughout the pen. I think the best place for you to get started, in order for you to see what I mean, is to get practicing. Grab your pen and start at one temperature, work at a consistent pace, and change and work through the temperatures from 2 to 10. And you'll see that by working at a consistent temperature, the thermal control has value. You will find, though, that once you figure out exactly how fast you're going to work, that you will be adjusting your temperatures to your necessity. And that is the benefit of this thermal control.